All right, so I feel like part of this has to do with their pricing. If the price of 4 players on FanDuel is at value for each player, because player A is out, so player B, C, D, and E all of a sudden become popular. And you often see this in scenarios where it's a high usage or a high ceiling type player. For instance, if we're looking at the Portland Trailblazers and Milwaukee Bucks game for Monday, February 1st, and Giannis is scratched 15 minutes before lock. All of a sudden, everybody's scrambling. They update their optimizers, update the projections, and what happens? Well, you end up seeing Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, DiVincenzo, Ilyasova, all these, Pat Connaughton, all these guys all of a sudden are just through the roof value-wise. And that's because you have a guy who has this really high usage, pads a bunch of peripheral stats. Now there's 22 shots open for the team, and 36 minutes on the court is going to be open in a very close game with Portland. So everybody gets a nice boost. But it is very rare that you see a team like Milwaukee, when everyone's kind of priced at value, all hitting value, but not just hitting it, but exceeding it, which is what you need in those tournaments. So I think it comes down to price. If you are looking at this type of situation and you end up having Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, and they're both priced all the way up here at 7.5 and 7.9K, you're not getting them really at a value. You're getting them priced at value. And there's a big difference. A priced value would be someone like Bobby Portis at 4.7K if he ends up starting, somebody who we know can score buckets and crash the boards for the team. And those are the situations I try to capitalize on. It's not so much these. These end up being the chalky pivots. A lot of people will do those as they know, oh, wow, Giannis is out. Okay, Chris Middleton is going to rain 15 threes from the outside. Drew Holiday is going to become the focal point with the basketball, blah, blah, blah. And they all do the same thing. And all of a sudden, the whole tournament becomes quite chalky with the same strategy and the same combination builds. Now, when you are building out your lineups and you have a situation like this, I think you can capitalize on it by simply just getting off some of those chalk plays and then using the tertiary or the the alternative type options like Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez, and you give yourself an opportunity to be a little bit different but still capitalize on an increased opportunity. Now, what I would like out of a situation like this is 2 players who are cheap. They're cheap, all right? Their floor is already built in by having more opportunity tonight, and now their ceiling's been raised because they are getting this opportunity, but their price tag has not increased. So you have Drew Holiday, who at 7.5K, yeah, he could still go for 42, 45, but is that going to win you a tournament at 7.5K? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But a guy like Bobby Portis, who can get 35, 40 points at 4.7, can be the play of the night. They can absolutely break the slate. So another situation, I'll use this as an analogy because I know everybody knows this one. You get a guy like Jason Tatum, he's out. All right, he's out for Boston. What happens? Well, Marcus Smart gets a boost. Kemba Walker gets a boost. Jaylen Brown gets a boost. Just everyone gets boosted. A guy that big, that important, such a focal point of the offense is out. Well, everybody else gets a boost. Boston in years past has been one of those teams where if Tatum or Brown or both Kemba and Jaylen are both out, everyone rushes to the backups. Marcus Smart all of a sudden 40% owned, even though he's a volatile player. He's priced at 5.8K. He's not even really a bargain anymore. And you've got Tatum, who's already high priced, ends up being a cash play in my opinion, but does not become like the de facto must play tournament option. He's already going to be super chalk. He's already priced at value. How much more opportunity can he have? He's already playing 36 minutes and taking 22, 23 shots. Okay, so he takes another 5 or 6 shots. Is he going to play 48 minutes of court time? These are the things you need to really look at and decide to yourself, how many of these Celtics or how many of these Bucks do I want to throw into my lineup? Often, I think the answer is probably cap it around 2, maybe even 3. I think 3, if they're all cheap, is an acceptable strategy. Can you get away with 4? Absolutely. You can get away with anything in DFS. That's the beauty of it. Every slate is unique every single day. Every time we play, it's different. So can it work? Yeah, sure. 4 players from one team one night might work. 4 players from one team, same prices, same everything. The very next night, you might get slaughtered. That's the DFS in a nutshell. I think if you are trying to make the best possible decision going into the night, really have a fine-tuned process, I think capping the players you use from a team, if they're extremely cheap, is to 3. And if they're all at value, I don't want to use any more than 2. And I try not to use those chalky picks. All right, I hope that answers that question. It's just a brief overview. Again, this is just my opinion. And you're free to do as much research as you want. Dive into Fantasy Crunch or go on the Rewind and see what you can cook up. Find me over at teamriseorfall.com. Less than $1 a day, and I'll see you on the inside, my friends.